This is Ryan. Welcome to Back to the Basics. Today we are going to talk a little bit about shutter speed, and we decided to come to, where are we at?
Main Street.
Downtown? Main Street, downtown. Downtown Main Street, whatever you want to call it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Basics. My name's Ryan. This is my daughter, Haley.
Casper.
Casper doesn't want to be on video. But anyways, we are in downtown on Main Street. We are going to do a little thing on shutter speed. So stick around and we'll talk about shutter speed in about 2 minutes. I don't think we can talk about it in 2 minutes though, do you?
No.
No, shutter speed actually takes a little bit longer than that. We were going to do some filming here on Main Street. Unfortunately, it's a lot busier than we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to actually be pretty good. There's a lot of loud cars and stuff going by, so we're just going to find a different location real quick. Literally didn't have any cars going through, and as soon as we set up, we've had like, what, 2, 3, 4 cars coming by already. This is crazy. We're just going to keep on rolling. Okay, so. Again, we're talking about shutter speed. That guy was really watching what we were doing. He's like, ah! Anyways, talking about shutter speed. This is an old broken Minolta camera. This Minolta XG1 is the kind of camera that I learned on. Old film. Now if you notice, look, there's no view screen. There's no way you can do live pictures. When you take a shot, you actually take a picture, it moves this little shutter right here. The shutter slides back and forth. That's the shutter. Notice there's no film, but you hit that little button and it makes that shutter slide back and forth, and then you actually have to take and use all the film, go get it processed, and then find out what you took pictures of. Digital cameras are so much easier. What actually is a shutter? So according to Wikipedia, Wikipedia says, in photography, a shutter is a device that allows light to pass for a determined period, exposing photographic film or photosensitive sensor to light in order to capture a permanent image of a scene. Shutter speed controls exposure, basically how bright and how dark a picture is. It also is going to control whether or not something in your picture is blurry with motion blur. Like let's say a full second, 2 seconds, a half of a second. That's the kind of shutter speed that you use when they have like, you've seen the nighttime pictures with the headlights that are blurred, or you have a picture of like somebody on a bike and the wheels are spinning and it's all blurry. That's actually what you use a slow setting on your shutter speed for. The super fast settings, 1/1000th of a second, 2/1000ths of a second. That's actually if you want to like have a bird hang in the sky, or you want to have like a fly caught in mid-flight. That's what you would use the faster shutter speed for. Now, shutter speed is different for photography than it is for video. And we're going to kind of show you the difference here. For photography, you capture a picture, you have like a blurry picture, you know, whatever situation you're doing. Video, here's the difference in the video. First of all, we're going to shoot the first one at a 1/15th of a second at 24 frames a second. Now you'll notice this right here is at 1/15th of a second, and I'm purposely moving my hands and stuff. You're going to see stuff is a little bit blurry. You use this setting if you want something that's a little disorienting, like if you're doing a scene where somebody's, you know, drugged up, drunk, more of a dream state. That kind of stuff is what you'd use this scene for, because if you notice, there's a lot more motion blur. Okay, this right here is set at the shutter speed of 125, still at 24 frames a second. Now you'll notice that my hands in this one are actually, they're a lot more crisp, but it seems like it's a more type of hyper, not as disorienting, more like a hyperactive type scene. One you would use for somebody that's showing anxiety, you know, hyperactivity, that kind of stuff. Normally what you have your shutter speed set for is twice of what your frame rate is. So if you're shooting at 24 frames a second, set it to 50. If you're shooting at 60 frames a second, set it to 125. That's the proper settings. It's just the best way that gives you the more natural blur to what you're producing on film, it looks far more cinematic. So I think that's going to wrap up shutter speed for now. Check out next when we do aperture. By the way, check out my website. Different things you can do with the shutter. We can make a bird look like they're sitting still in midair, or you could actually kind of let the shutter open for a long time. You know how you have those cool pictures where you got cars going down the street and you see all their taillights all streaked and stuff? That's also controlled by shutter speed. The other thing controlled by shutter speed is exposure. In other words, how bright your picture is and how much detail and stuff's going to be in your picture. The shorter the exposure, the less light that's going to hit the film or the sensor. The longer the exposure, the more light. So when you have a little exposure, I'll show you an example here, really fast shutter speed, and you don't have that much exposure, you're going to have a really deep, dark picture. The shutter's open for too long, you're going to have a really super duper bright picture. Speed for photography and shutter speed for film are two completely different things. They actually work completely different. If you do shutter speed for photography, you're trying to capture stop time or have lots of motion, have lots of blur. Now if you do it for video, here's the difference. Now this is at 15 seconds. Now if you'll notice, at 15 seconds, if I'm moving around, it's gonna look really distorted, really blurry. This is great, like if you're doing a drunk scene. Somebody's like, this is what this is used for. Now if you'll notice, this right here is at 125 frames a second. You'll see as I move around, it's actually gonna be really jumpy, really jittery. Super blurry, great for drunk. This is one if somebody's like really hyper and really high active.